there's a lot of things going on that are right in front of us,
Yeah.
and it's just takes a little bit of digging to see it. And I do like the fact, and you have mentioned it before, and I like the fact that it doesn't always have to be a bad thing. And I
Right.
and I kind of picked up on that. You mentioned him a minute ago, listening to Billy Carson. By the way, if no one's heard of him, I saw him on a really popular podcast called Flagrant with Andrew Schultz. Um, that for I think that for is going to. I mean, it's as close as Rogan. It's almost like that
He been
level.
on Joe Rogan too before.
He's been on Rogan.
Pretty positive.
Oh, I got to see that. I
I
didn't know
could be
that.
wrong, but I'm pretty positive.
Yeah, and it was I don't know, man. He's very charismatic. I mean, he's very well spoken. There's a lot of red flags with that type of stuff when I see people like that, and he's very loaded with information, but a lot of the stuff, and I like how he says, just look it up. And if you
Yeah.
stop and look it up, it's there,
Yeah.
regardless of what you think about what he's saying. And what he's saying, the point of me bringing him up is that not everything he's saying is like doom and gloom. A lot
Yeah,
of it,
no.
like, yeah, go. You know more about him than me.
Nah, you can say what you were saying, no.
No. I'm kind of hoping I kind of got to bounce it off you because it seems like it's a lot of basically what he's saying and what he's seen, and it's happened for a long time. Is that there's been multiple different types of quote unquote aliens, just as a loose term that you could even maybe tie back to the Bible, to where you start thinking angels and all this stuff aren't
Yeah.
necessarily angels.
Yeah.
They could just be aliens or just people that look like us, aren't necessarily, beady-eyed, weird stuff, even though those are out there too. But these are just higher intelligence or just more advanced what do you call them? Beings, I guess you'd
Yeah,
say,
I guess you could say, yeah.
that can come down. And they're trying to, if you listen to Toth and all that, his goal was to improve us and teach us skills and ways of being better.
Yeah.
Essentially, we're like partially, depending on how deep you go into this and believe it, aren't we basically seeded from them? And then now they waited for us to get to a certain level, and now it's trying to teach us to crawl, and eventually we'll be able to walk and that type of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So essentially they're old writings. We talked about the Emerald Tablets of Thoth.
Hmm.
Um I forget. I think it's called the Numa Elish, and Billy Carson is like a expert on that. Like,
Hmm.
but he has a lot of like individual work with people who have been directly tied to these things. So
Hmm.
he does actually even does trips where you can go on a trip with him
So
to
like
Egypt
Egypt
and
and
stuff like that to see what
right.
he's talking about.
Yeah.
But there are very, very ancient texts that talk about these things that
Hmm.
sound so far fetched. This is why they get kind of kept out of uh, everyday academia.
Hmm.
Because why are we not being taught this kind of stuff? Like,
Hmm.
why is it that we still have to speculate if there's extraterrestrial life when we have all of this proof?
Right. Yeah.
Because then now we got to start teaching about why we were lied to for so long.
Hmm.
You get what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So it's a Pandora's box that's been closed for so long, and it's been fighting out, and information is being leaked out,
Hmm.
but also information is being given out. I forget what year it was, but in the recent years, I believe in the last 10 years, the FBI, they released over 2 million documents of UFOs.
Yeah.
2 million documents. Who in the fuck got time to read 2 million documents?
Right.
So their number one tactic is the oversaturation of information.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard to find what's true because it's so much fucking information.
Right.
So somebody like him, they come and they can kind of decipher that information a
He
little
puts in
bit.
the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I say all that to say that from the older writings, they tell us that there were humans on this planet already when they came. Thoth, the Emerald Tablets of Thoth. Thoth says that when they came from Planet X, which is Nibiru,
Hmm.
that when they came here, there were people of dark skin, cone heads, things like that.
Hmm.
In other writings, they did talk about genetically modifying us to a degree
Hmm.
to help us be more acclimated with using overall thoughts and
Mhm.
those kind of things. You know what I mean? Just
Mhm.
being more aware.
Yeah.
They said though that we were already good at cultivating, like growing things and
Mm
food and stuff like that. So
mhm.
we already have. This is why I believe those things are natural to us,
Yeah.
and we have these natural tendencies. You're considered to have a green thumb if you can grow things, if you can
Mhm.
speak to plants, and all of these kind of things. They're considered old and outdated kind of thought processes.
Mhm.
But there's a reason that the older people had more of a connection with the land is because they understood. I think innately we've
Mhm.
always had these abilities, and that's what made us us.
Yes. Yeah.
So, whether people like certain conversations, I'm kind of over that
Mhm.
because, like you said, it's just simple research,
Mhm.
but people don't like the research. They want it to be on the news, and even when they tell you on the news that they're extraterrestrials and they literally did a whole debriefing, nobody batted an eye.
Right. Which
So I
which is
don't.
crazy to me. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I don't have time to be dealing with all of that. What we are dealing with though are for the people who care to learn or who
Mhm.
have very I don't know what word I was gonna say, but they want to learn, they want to grow.
The thirst for knowledge. Yeah.
Yeah, like, and they might already have some knowledge themselves, but are still
Mhm.
finding and hunting for different perspectives that might help further their knowledge.
That's exactly well put. It's looking for different perspectives.